doesn't feel right without Randy here.
Man, I love every time I hear that that instrument, I love that song. You know, I love the idea that dude use abbreviation to say, "Young boy never broke again." I think it's a great idea. He try to prophesy on himself, man. I love it. Only if he could actually just stay out of trouble, bro. Man, he got more kids than I could ever imagine at such a young age. But hey, we keep hope alive for brothers. Especially that young brother, man. But man, I always want to say good morning right quick to every single one of y'all. If you happen to do it, and I just want to do this quick. When I told y'all I was just gonna be popping up with podcasts leading up to the season premiere of Unfiltered, November the 3rd, 7 o'clock for a fourth season. So I'm happy and I'm great. And I'm just so happy that we got 4 seasons in, y'all. 4 seasons in, thousands of views. It's awesome. I love it, man. I love it. I'm grateful to every single one of y'all that have been doing such a great thing. Give me 1 second. This is my doctor's office, y'all. Hello? Okay, there you go. They just remind me of a appointment. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't believe I just did that, but y'all know what's going on. We grown. But anyway, man, I just want to say good again, I just want to say good morning um to every single one of y'all today. As y'all do. We have to tell y'all all the time. Share, do everything that you got to do. We're gonna have an interesting conversation this morning. It's been on me. I was like, do I want to wait? But I'm like, no, we ain't doing that. Only thing we got, like I said, man, is just more content, and I love it. So this is the content for the day. Hoping everybody's fine, doing well. I know I got a couple of people that have actually lost family members, a couple of them this week. So just grateful to God. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's doing better. And God bless. But let's get into the little conversation that we had. One thing I did want to bring up before we even get into that is it's amazing to me that what we're going to talk about today, what's been on my mind has been this situation and what I'm trying to figure out is it's not even about figuring it out now. It's getting upsetting because it's to the point where this organization, this country, and I don't like to call it the legal system. I call it the criminal system because that's all it is. It just disgusts me how bad it is, and it's like they in our faces. They got the audacity to keep saying, "Trust the system, trust the system, trust the system, trust the system." We got to go by the system. Trust the system. The system is obvious that the system don't even work. And that's the big thing. That's the big thing for me. It's obvious that the system doesn't work. And I'm about to give y'all positive proof of what I'm talking about right now. And what I mean is, and I'm sorry, um, my beautiful, gorgeous pit bulls kept trying to come in, but they're going to start whining because they want attention all the time. They're both girls. But I just want to bring this up to y'all. First of all, what we talking about this morning? We're talking about the Ahmaud Arbery case. All right, that they're doing jury selection for right now, And just in case a lot of y'all haven't been up on what is going on, Ahmaud Arbery was the um, young black male man who was shot. Was cold bloodedly. Let's call it what it is. He was murdered. Um, saying that two white males, and even one white male, and it's funny because even with the whole situation, everything was is caught on tape. Talking about they doing a citizen's arrest, but you do a citizen's arrest um, with a shotgun. Citizen's arrest in one of the good old boy states of America, Georgia. I never. This is my personal opinion. I got family and friends, everybody that live in Georgia. I don't know why the fuck any of y'all would want to live in Georgia. In Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, any of them redneckish states where our ancestors' blood screams from the dirt. But we ain't gonna get in all of that. That's a whole different conversation. I wouldn't even want to be down there. I would think the ghost of the several victims of the atrocities that happened in this country would be screaming. You wouldn't have a sound sleep. But it is what it is. I do not understand. I am not no Southern guy. I do not like it whatsoever. Them red states are always gonna be red. I don't care what votes it is. If it's go blue, it go blue for a minute. It's going right back. But anyway, let's just really get into this. So on video, which the only species on the world that even if you have video proof and evidence of what happened, that you still got to be like, I don't know how the case gonna go. To is African Americans or blacks. It's only us. We the only ones that is still subject to a full investigation, even though we got video evidence of it. We've seen it in every aspect. It's like, well, they kind of shot it from an angle, or we got to get into the mindset. No other race gets this benefit or gets the benefit of the doubt, and it's so ignorant to me that we still are debating if these guys should be punished. And this is not the kicker. I want to bring this up. That's not the kicker. This is what I want to show y'all, okay? And I'm gonna put this a little bit bigger, all right? Because this it makes you say, what in the world are we living at right now, where it's like it's beyond belief, right? So this has just happened yesterday. This is courtesy of the Washington Post, because of course I like to give y'all proof. I don't like to just put stuff out here like other people that have podcasts and just want to be like, hey, we just want to make controversy. No, I don't want to make controversy. I want you to think, and I want you to know all the proof that comes with it. So I like to follow things up. And you should never listen to anybody that don't have any proof, that can't back up their sources, but all they do is want you to believe their opinions and think opinions should be fact. With that out the way, right here. Just reading the story. This, like I said, this is from the Washington Post. This is just as yesterday. But one of the biggest problems that's going on right now, as it says, Ahmaud Arbery's killing in Georgia puts an unusually bright spotlight on prosecutor accountability. Ain't this about a bitch? And excuse me, I'm trying to get away from using a lot of profanity. It ain't working, but I believe and I have faith that it will work. But look at this. Just reading it, it says that the killing itself was shocking to Georgians. And right off the bat, it's offensive to me. And what I mean by offensive, I don't mean it like this old new day where everybody offended by everything. But what's offensive about it said it's shocking to Georgians. It's not shocking to Georgians. This behavior has been going on for over hundreds of years. It shouldn't be shocking to us. It's ridiculous. It's not shocking. Like, oh, we've never seen anything like this. They've seen worse. That's why. The only thing that's shocking people in Georgia, especially those of the European American persuasion, is that it wasn't worse. They've seen worse than what we had here. It's like I said, what's going on now is that now it's videotape. We living in this new society where everything is videotaped, everything is recorded, and this is just the way things is done now. Now, this is one of the things I like. It's got a two-edged sword with it because I believe you should be doing more helping than videotaping. But we live in a society where everybody's looking to go viral. But anyway, let's go to the story. And it's just saying basically what's going on is that they said the three white men chasing a black man in a pickup truck and then shooting him on a residential street. So it was the local authorities' response. 74 days without charges. Now we went over this. That's just despicable. All right. Because you got a couple of good old boys that thought they saw him doing something. What happened is that it's the typical, if you see, I'm going to pull up a picture of these rednecks. And it's just disgusting because they look like just like how they depict us all the time, saying, "Oh yeah, he look like he's dangerous." All black people look alike, and we know everybody don't look alike, but we know the types. And when you see these guys, you look at them, you like, "Well, yeah, they definitely some good old boy rednecks that probably was having good old had themselves a couple of beers, saw a black guy, that's like, man, we about to go um, harass this dude right quick." And it's just ridiculous, man. And it's crazy. What up, though, bro? I'm sorry, I'm just not looking at the comments, man. Um, it's just it pisses you off because these are the things that make you say, you want me to trust what system? You know, I say I thank God for a lot of things, and one of the biggest things I thank God for is wisdom. You have to use your wisdom in everything that you're doing, especially in this day and age in this country. You got to have it. If you don't have wisdom, you have nothing. And we're going through this 74 days. We're going to pick up all the insults that go on in this 74 days without charges, right? While many killings have sparked racial justice protests in 2020, cast a harsh spotlight on the police actions in places like Minneapolis and Louisville. Ahmaud Arbery killing in the coastal community of Satilla Shores near Brunswick, Georgia, brought a flood of attention to another powerful part of the justice system, the prosecutors. Okay, again, we got to understand this. A lot of people don't understand. I know a lot of people watch what's the show, Law and Order, and and right there in the beginning they do that really deep monologue where it says it represents two parts: the law and then the order. And this has always been the case in the first place with prosecutors. It's always been like this. They always sold to it, especially when you got the head prosecutor, when it's the attorney general or whatever system that is in. It's despicable. It took 74 days for y'all to try to even put some charges with videotape evidence. Keep this in mind. The evidence that people like police and prosecutors want so bad. They always wish they could have it. Man, if we had this back in the day, we had some proof, some hardcore proof. We could do the right thing. The problem is that, do prosecutors really want to do the right thing? And this is where it go to right here. We just got to admit that a lot of the problems, police is a part of it, or what I like to call policy enforcement. Are they good officers? Absolutely. I work with them all the time as I work with my community. There's some good ones out there that really care about the communities and they live in the communities that they police. Um, but they almost in a um, lose-lose situation at times because the cops, whether people want to admit it or not, it's one of the biggest gangs in America. They are a gang. They don't look, don't snitch, don't tell on us, turn your head. They do the same thing they telling these other gangs not to do. That's why it's the audacity of the situation when it calls for so many different things that when we have situationals or situations just like this where It should be clear cut. It shouldn't be a question about it. It should be when you see this and it's not lining up to what these individuals are saying. When you got individuals there who want to try to remove themselves from any type of responsibility of it. Because one of the white men said, look, I had nothing to do with that. I was filming. Have nothing to do with that. What exactly are you talking about? Are you talking about I had nothing to do with the murder of that black man? I was there filming, but I didn't have anything to do with it. See, those are the questions that I think a good prosecutor should be asking. And they don't. They're not asking that question. I would be wondering, like, okay, you all of a sudden want to remove yourself from the fact that you were there. You videotape, but I had nothing to do with the killing. You jumped in the pickup truck. Let me tell y'all something. Being from the wonderful city of Detroit, Michigan, man. Shout out to Detroit. What up, though? But think about this. We had times where where you knew, look, I can't be around this purse. Yeah, me and this dude cool, but I ain't about to jump in the car with him. Why? Because this dude steals cars. And every car that he got is hotter than a firecracker. He driving around the hood like, man, you driving around the hood, bro. I ain't about to get that car with. I mean, it's cool that you driving in, but I ain't about to get in with it. Cause you know why? If we both get pulled over, we both going to jail. I'm getting pulled over and I'm going to jail. I can't pull that number. I didn't know it was stolen. You in the car. It's too late. Guilt by association. I done told my sons this. I done told my daughter this. I done told my young cousins this. I done told every young brother, every young sister this all the time. You gotta watch who you are around. You gotta watch who you mess with and who you don't mess with. And the problem with this situation is that he wants this benefit of the doubt, saying, hey, I had nothing to do with it. I was there for filming, but I didn't know he was gonna do that. He knew everything that they were gonna do. They knew it was gonna pop off like that. They got in there hot. This is the same situation that has happened throughout history when it comes to low educated white males in this country who are deemed to be racist and bigots. It's the same narrative. Period. It's the same narrative. What has changed about it? They get in an uproar, they get drunk, they're upset because whatever opportunities they should be having in life, they didn't take advantage of. They didn't take advantage of their whiteness. It's just period. They didn't take advantage of their whiteness. So they mad that someone who was supposed to be beneath them, according to the laws and the rules that have been put in place, that should be underneath them, that they pissed. So anytime they see anybody that's not of their color palette, they pissed about it. They pissed about women. They pissed about everything. They pissed at themselves. So they gotta find anybody else to blame but themselves. So they blame us. So they see this young black guy talking about, I thought I saw him stealing, nothing like that. He ain't had nothing to steal. Wasn't nothing to steal. He was stealing. And then got the nerve to say, y'all initiate the violence to this young man. Y'all jump out of pickup truck and expect this young man to be cool. Y'all trying to fight him. And what happened is that you couldn't overpower him. Then you used the good old stand your law, felt threatened, but he didn't have a weapon. You had a weapon. You had a shotgun. He felt threatened. And now he's dead and gone. We still trying to figure out how to get justice for him in the criminal system. And what's the most ironic part about this whole situation? And I really want y'all to understand this so bad. I really want to get to it. I got a little passion. Y'all know how I'll be. And get a little more passionate about it. And they talk about the district attorneys right here. They talking about the case draw more scrutiny toward the district attorneys connected to it, leading to criminal charges. New support for statewide oversight. We've been knew these things need to be happening. Why are they trying to deflect from the fact that they really believe that these guys are going to get off? They're trying to deflect to this. They're trying to say that, oh, we're going to put in all this work. It's the good old pitch and catch. It's the Statue of Liberty pay. Act like it's going to someone else, but really you didn't kept the ball. They're not thinking no more about anything else than what it is. They're trying to deflect. The country's done this so much all the time. Every time we get a ball rolling. This is why, man, I wish, honestly, this is real truth. I wish I could sit down with the LGBTQ community. And I'm talking about the real makers. I'm talking about the ones, the movers and shakers, who have created one of the most successful and most committed movements I have ever seen in my life. I've never seen a movement that has affected, and I'm sorry, infected and put so much change into the system for the group of people that's with the movement more than LGBTQ. Now, there's a lot of things I don't agree with what they do, and that's neither here or there. But I'm talking about the movement aspect of it, how they move and how they get change, and they don't play games. They are steadfast and they get it taken care of. I wish I could sit down with a couple of them and say, "Hey, how do y'all doing this?" Because my people have been trying to do this for years, but the problem is we can never stay focused enough. We get happy for small pretend victories and continue to lose the war all the time. It's like nonstop. We just always lose the war aspect of things. Oh, we got a little more. We got a little more victory. They like, oh, Juneteenth, because now it's a national holiday. Oh, we good. Everything is all good. Man, forget that. That was a pacifier. That was an artificial olive branch. Like, look, man, look, this is for y'all. Can we be quiet about this? Just justice reform. And it's funny that every time we have that olive branch, guess who is in charge? Democrats. I ain't gonna put that. I'm trying to be real with y'all, but it's just the truth. Every time we get these little mini victories, it's always Democrats in charge, because they've always do the same thing. They promise African Americans and people of color, this is what's going to happen. We're going to make some changes. We're going to do this. They run on it. Then they get in the office and they do everything but what they said, because they got a whole different agenda. They just want to get in the office. And this is why they don't ever stay in office this long. This is why they barely turn red states around in the same red states. It's because they don't like Democrats, because Democrats are really the worst type of liars. I think just about all politicians lie, but Democrats the worst liars. They'll do it to your face and try to hug and kiss you and tell you, like, this is what we're going to do. And they tell you the same thing all the time. And the reason why they like African Americans so much, because they're like, oh man, they just ain't getting it. We got to paint Republicans to be the enemy, when the real enemy in politics is the laws, it's the judges, it's the prosecutors. That's the real enemy. Especially blacks, it's the laws, the judges, it's the laws of this nature. It ain't got nothing to do with Democrat and Republican. It's the laws and the judges. It's the people we have that are over this system from a criminal standpoint. Because, as we say over and over again, the justice system has been gone for a long time. It's the criminal system. It's just honest to God truth, is the criminal system. And as we look more into this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to just put this little stupid branch up, distract from y'all from these things. Look at this. Oversight and debate over how to balance accountability with prosecutors' independence. Activists, lawmakers, and lawyers are still pushing for changes as the jury slowly comes together for the murder trial of the three men whose pursuit of Aubrey, a district attorney, once called completely justified. Do you hear that? They said that the pursuit they had of this young man was completely justified. And they trying to make it where, oh, well, we need to just go after that and then guess what? Whatever happened by choice. But it's just things that we ain't looking at. See, they not talking about, and I was looking for that article, but I can just tell you, just on the news, they were having problems. They had fears about the jury. Guess why? Because they said they felt like they couldn't find jurors that could be impartial. The one part of the system, did you just hear what I just said, y'all? The one part of the system that is supposed to be the most fair part is that you're supposed to be judged by a jury of your peers. But they said they are worried because they can't find people that'll be impartial because everybody has heard this case, they know about this case, and they already got their opinion about this case. So they're basically saying that people, no matter what's presented, no matter what proof is in front of their face, are basically saying, I already made up my mind. So this justice system that they always put in place and always tell us to trust, as we've already known and seen several times, is completely and utterly flawed. Why are people surprised that they couldn't find? It's hard to find the juries for this trial in this community. But some people are afraid. They're like, man, I ain't about to be the one on that. They're gonna find out I was on the one on the jury, and now I got to experience everything that's gonna come after it. People are terrified. Then you got some people that's just straight up like, look, I think it was justified. I don't care what proof you put out there. I believe it was justified, and that boy had what he had coming to him. Then you got the other ones. I've seen it on there, clear cut, videotape, seen it, boom, bam, boom. That's it. And nobody want to move off their peg. And this represents what's the problem with America right here. That people don't want or have no interest in facts. We don't. We don't have no interest in facts. None whatsoever. Because facts make you face some beliefs you may have had that were completely wrong. And nobody want to be completely wrong. So you got some people that are hardcore racist bigots. And they still can't tell you why they hardcore racist bigots. Because they've only had one side of the coin. They have no interest in looking at the other side. And you look at a case like this, we're really having a hard time finding jurors. This is a despicable. Because it's just not in this area. It's in every area. Tell the fear to a black male who is actually innocent, a Latino male or female who is actually innocent. And then they look at their jury and it's all white. Never in history, I guarantee it. I'll wait for someone to send me this. That you had where a white man and woman had a jury where they didn't have no representation in there in terms of color. It didn't happen. Even in a chocolate city that's Detroit, who has the largest percentage by population, according to population of African Americans in one major city, Detroit. Detroit is the real chocolate city. Always have been. You'll still find where majority of the juries don't even have, out of 12 people, It ain't even close to 50% black. It's probably in terms of 20. Tell that to people. They're like, man, a jury of my peers don't look like it. This system is completely set up. And then the fear of, see, they want, it's always fears when it's when it comes to European Americans. And it's just the truth. There's always fears when like, oh, we don't get they're gonna get a fair trial. What? Tell that to everybody else that be in fear of having a fair trial. And these guys guilty of sin. Fair trial. It's disgusting. It's a disgusting development. And they trying to steer you out to my we want to get the prosecutors and we want to look into this. We're gonna do some looking. That's all they're gonna do is look. They ain't gonna do jack shit. Ain't gonna be nothing else other than a look. And they try to plan that all the time because they understand that majority of the time blacks and Latinos have low attention spans and they will settle for small, minute, pretend victories outside of staying the course and doing everything they got to do to win the war. Talk about justice reform. They ain't got no interest in justice reform. They'll put a few patches there. Look at this. Even when we had a black president, he said out his own mouth, man, we just can't make a law just for African Americans. I'm like, you son of a bitch. I can't believe you just said that to us. Right after you signed in 3 major laws for the LGBTQ community. My goodness. 3 major laws, Barack. Even Biden, he's continuing on your legacy. He made a law to help Pacific Islanders and Asians. Y'all have yet to make that for us. And no one has been more subject to the unfairness, to the cruelty of this country in every system, in every area of the system, whether it be financially, whether it be criminally, whether it be education, than blacks. We always the back burners. We always put them on the back burner. We'll deal with that. Give them something else. Give them something else to put their attention at ease. Give them a Juneteenth. We'll make that national holiday. Who cares? And we'll be so good. We're all so good to it. And do we always the most forgiving race? We gotta forgive. We the only ones that gotta forgive everybody. We gotta forgive. We gotta do this. Blacks gotta forgive everything. Man, forgive it. Forgive it. He did bad by you, and they keep doing bad by you. Forgive him. Turn the cheek. We ain't about to play that way. And we ain't about to. And I'm not saying that we got to go all crazy. What I'm saying is that there's nothing wrong with us questioning and demanding changes when we know it's obviously not fair. So what do we do now? What do we do now? Right? That's the biggest question. When you read this story, and the rest of it is just, like I said, it's basically the same. It's just they want to look for prosecutor misconduct. I want to look for misconduct in every aspect. This is not new. The problem is that it's become the scary habitual behavior of America. It's been like that. You can't deny it. Why we have to be like, well, let's keep asking. Maybe we need to stop asking. Maybe within our own communities, because they do it with every other race, man. They've done it. We did it like that before. But what happens is that we had a huge split around the 1960s. And I keep going over this over and over again. We had a huge, incredible split. The 1960s will, without a doubt, be the most influential decade in Black history than we ever seen. Because everything was done so deliberately, and yet we always trying to pretend like we didn't see it happen. We were prospering. We were making our money. We said, okay, they want to put us in our own. You want to outcast us from that? Okay, that's fine. Y'all want to have us do. We went from slavery, then we went right into segregation. And what we should have said is that, you know what? And a lot of people gonna get mad at me because I'm saying this, but listen to me. What we should have said is, you know what? Fine. Fuck y'all. We'll keep doing it on our own. We'll keep doing it ourselves. We'll keep pumping and producing our own communities. And to be honest, and a lot of us did do that. But what happened is that you had some smart white folks who said, man, it's a big population of people, which means that's a lot of consumers. That's a lot of consumers. Everything has got to do with money. It's got nothing to do with love. And some of us are slowly understanding that now. But anything this country do when it comes to law change and everything, it's got to do with money. It's got nothing to do with fairness. Money. And they saw us having our communities, doing things on our own, not messing with nobody, not being around nobody. We tried to almost outcast ourselves away from white agendas. And again, I don't have to keep saying this over and over again. Is every white person bad? And every white person? No, we ain't got to keep saying this because if the shoe fits, wear it. If you know you're not like that, then you know you ain't like that. I mean, why we got to keep doing this? I'm not saying that, but are we talking about the actual correct times in the history and correct and the actual correct behaviors? This is nothing that's new. But what happened is that they saw, oh my goodness, they're prospering. And one thing that a lot of arrogant, racist, whites don't like is when another race don't need them. They always want every other race, including their own women at times, to be in a constant state of dependency upon them. So when they saw that it wasn't working like that, they destroyed it. I'm gonna destroy these communities, destroy them. We know just about some of them that they just coming out with now because they want to bring them out and get books on them and make money off of them. But they ain't telling about the vast majority of the other places that happen. Every place didn't get bombed, like Lakewood and Tulsa. You had some where they just had flat out mass killings. Majority of them in the South, the good old South, where y'all love want to stay at. Some of y'all is right next on the coast of lakes that underneath that water lies graves and towns that were flooded by whites to try to get rid of the history of the things that they done. It's incredible. It's a despicable history that this country has. And they want to keep saying that we're the greatest country on face of the planet. And we need to just come with some cold, hard, come to Jesus moment and say, no, it ain't. We have some horrible problems. The systemic, habitual, ingrained, racist behavior of this country is now just reaching everywhere around the world. It's period. It's reaching. It's reaching around this country. How many of us have already experienced this? Young black men have come to the point where you know when you see the police. I'm talking about the innocent brothers. Because every black guy ain't out here selling dope. Ain't out here stealing. Those stats are fluctuated, man. Got young black men out here that's just trying to do everything they can do to give a better life for themselves and their families. Whether it be through education, whether it be through trade, whether it be through entrepreneurship. We're just given everything the hard way. Everything is told to us where it's a straight line process for the race with the complexion for protection. But for us and other people of color, but mainly black men, it's like it's a whole different road. They're like, man, go through that way. You got to go through the backwoods where it should take a mile. They make us go through all the rest of these stuff, 20 miles to get there. You want to know why? Because they plan and they hoping that while you going through that, they can make some changes, make some more loopholes to make you have to jump through them. So that way, when you finally get to that spot, they're like, oh, you also got to do this too. Most racist white folks don't like fairness. It's never going to be fair. So they now get mad when you don't want to go in their system. Like, look, oh, you don't want to play our game? They get mad when people leave the park. Man, we ain't playing with you no more. You tripping. You got these crazy rules. You got a rule where you want to say, I'm gonna say go. I'm gonna start running. And you can't start running until I get past y'all about 50, 100 times. So they want us to start and try to catch up to them in the hopes that no one ever will. And see, this is where the problem comes in. That most people of color, foreigners, are hard workers. They showed that we ain't slaves. All we want to do is the same opportunity. If you saw about this is what we need to be learning in education, give that to us as well. And then they'll say something insulting like, well, it just seems like, those in the inner city don't have the same, they're like light years behind the education that we're providing out here. And who fault is that? That's not the fault of the students. That's not even the fault of the teachers. That's the fault of groups who fund these schools and tell them, look, this is the agenda. This is what y'all have to teach them. If you don't do it this way, we're taking away funding. Like I say, everything is about money. They have a certain way they want you to do things in order for you to keep the money. So they give them outdated books, outdated technologies, tell you lies like, well, if it ain't enough people in the class, we're not going to fund it. But out there in suburban schools and private schools who still take money from public school funds, shout out to that dingbat Betsy DeVos, they still do that crap and was doing that the whole time. Then in the same breath, they got 10 to 15 students a class, even less than that, where they could get all that one-on-one attention. You can present the information to them so that way they can understand it better. The ideal way to have a classroom. But if you have that in an urban city, they say, oh, we got to close that school down. They only got 15 people in a class. But yet it's the same way in suburbs. So nothing's ever a pandemic, nothing's ever wrong until it reaches white folks. That's the kicker of this country. Nothing's ever a problem until it reaches and touches white suburban America. And I'm gonna tell you, you poor and uneducated whites, y'all need to smarten up because y'all not a part of it either. They think less of y'all. They just use y'all because they know y'all the big population. They know it. They know y'all the big population, but they talk about y'all like dogs. And y'all just go along with it. Everything they tell you, well, yeah, all this other stuff. Most people on welfare in this country are European Americans. Look it up. You can look it up for yourself. There's no other person in this country that have more welfare recipients than European Americans. So what that tell you? That man, you poor whites, y'all in the same boat as most of the rest of the demographics in this country. But yet, y'all still vote against your own best interests. You vote against your own best interests all the time. You get up here, oh, I gotta vote for him because he's saying it right. Talk about what blacks got more advantage. What world are you living in? We have the biggest demographic in prisons today, and we just ain't talking about guilty. We talking about innocent because prosecutors, because court-appointed attorneys have did a horrible job and should be fired, should be fined, and should be imprisoned because they neglected their duties to defend their clients to the best of their abilities. While this country, while these states, while the government has gotten billions dollars of free labor out of people of color. And now all of a sudden, everybody's coming out of the blue. And shout out to people that is sticking with it, these programs, is trying to get everything. Like, man, no, man, this guy did not get a fair trial. We need to find out what's going on. And the messed up part is that the waiting list for this is incredible. Men have spent 20, 30 years of their lives behind bars. And then you're going to say, oh, we're going to give you $1 million to replace that. What the hell? Money don't replace everything, white America. Black people, money don't cure everything. My Latinos, money does not solve everything. The one thing money can never buy you back, never, is time. 30 years in prison, 30 years of your life, you can't buy that back. Not many people didn't even get to go to their mother's, their father's funeral, brothers or sisters' funeral, never got to see their chance to get their kids to grow up. Can't talk to them the way they want to talk to them, to let them know, I didn't do this. Don't let nobody tell you that I did do it. I'm telling you, I'm innocent. Can't buy back that time. Tell that to a young man that was in California that had a promising NFL career ahead of him. Young woman lied and said that she raped him, that he raped her. He spent 5 years behind bars, only to come out and find out through a secret video where she openly admitted that she lied. Lawyers didn't do their job. Just didn't do their jobs at all. Yeah, some NFL teams stepped in and tried to say, oh man, let's do a publicity stunt. Let's let him go ahead and try out. But his skills had deteriorated. Why? Because he was 5 years in prison, man. He ain't been on a football field. How do you replace that man's time? You don't. You don't replace his time. So all in all, as we all know what we're talking about, Ahmaud Arbery, you give his family all the money in the world, he ain't coming back. So whether they do sue the community, which look like they're trying to lead to anyway, they think money gonna solve everything, and people just forget it. And that's what happened most with a lot of I hate to say it like this, but this is what happened with a lot of black folks, Latinos. Oh, we get the money. Okay, we got the money. Okay, let's just let it go. We can't get them back anyway. That'd be their mentality. We need to stop with that selfish mentality. We need to start to saying we want real justice. I want all three of those black men, all three of those white men that decided to get in the pickup truck, thought it was going to be like the good old days of Jim Crow era, and getting this guy and following this boy who in their mind frame they called the old time a nigger, with the intent to go ahead and they would have loved to string him up. Let's just stop it. All three of them look like they know how to tie nooses. And now expecting the government, which they do, to get them out of this mess. and the audacity of the judges and the court and the system of itself to say they are afraid because they don't think they got jurors that could be impartial. Where is that fear when you see in black courts when black people are the defendants or the Latinos are the defendants? Where's y'all bleeding heart for that? You want to know why? You don't want to know why they ain't got a bleeding heart? Because we don't look like them. It's like I told y'all before, and this is not racist. This is factual. When they storm the Capitol, I want y'all to think of everything that they do different. They storm the Capitol. 90% of them, shoot, 99%, except for the sprinkle and sparkle of some of the black folks that was there who looked and said, man, this is crazy, man. I can't believe this is going on like this. They stormed the Capitol. One person got shot, a woman got shot. And it actually should have been a massacre. Because if it happened in any other third or any other, not even a third world, if it had in any developing strong power in any other country, if that had been Russia, you see what Russia don't play. Every single one of them that stormed, if they had stormed the Kremlin, they would have had them bodies laid out in the front of the Kremlin on the street for evidence for everybody else to say, don't you ever in your life think about doing that to us again. Trying to dethrone the government. That'd have been China. The bodies would have been laid out. In the court of the Capitol, saying, don't you ever do that again. No other place would that happen because they don't care about color and that. They care about control and power. Over here in America, though, these police over there, they saw them whites and it looked like them. They didn't even think to pull out their guns. And it wasn't nothing more aggressive than white folks with guns and anger and liquor. That's a deadly combination. It's a deadly combination for white folks, man. Especially you got these far left, or I'm sorry, far right. Whew. Anybody know dangerous? They talking about they want to. Nobody want to go to war with them. Them boys shoot every day. They plot every day. They understand the art of war. They're waiting for a race war, a civil war to break out. They're prepared. And these Democrats trying to talk, trying to sweet talk, say, "Oh yeah, we're ready." Y'all ain't ready for nothing. Y'all ain't ready to go to war with these people. What we need to do is have some serious sit down conversations with the most rational of each group and attack the hard pressing issues. That's the only hope for it. That's the only hope for this country. Period. It's the only hope for this country. We got to get some rational people in this bad boy. And we got to talk some real. I don't know. I don't know what else to possibly be said about everything else. That's what's got to happen. We got to stop being so easily detracted by everything else. We got to stop wanting to just be around everything that entertains us. I want to entertain, but then everything while you getting entertained and while you all you do is focus on the stuff that you hate and everything else of that nature. There's laws, there's precedents that's being done right underneath your nose, but because you're so easily distracted by everything, it always go undetected, gets voted on, pressed into the system, and no one is none the wiser that this is coming to play. So that's my outcry to my own people, man. We got to get over this. Just want to be entertained stuff. We got to. If we ever going to get over the hump, we got to get over this. We got to get over this. All we got to do is vote Democrat or a Republican or something like that. We got to vote in our best interests. We got to stop voting because grandma voted this way, my mama voted this. No, you got to vote in your own best interest. Think about your children. Think about what you care about the most. We got to get to that point. If we don't start doing this the right way, Young brothers like Ahmaud Arbery, sisters like Bland, and every single other person of color who is just fallen due to horrible practices in the criminal system, by horrible practice in our own neighborhoods, by horrible practices in our own family, if we don't start doing it the right way, get out of this constant thinking that if we do the same thing over and over again, we're going to get a different result. Man, shoot, then they died for nothing. And to be honest, they did die for nothing. We got to do better. We got to attack it head on. And it's the justice and lawmaking systems of this country that we got to attack. It's the financial institutions, such as the IRS, who constantly pick upon people of color in the middle to low income bracket of this country. That's who they come after the most. They don't go after where the money and the real tax cheats are, because they're getting breaks, they're getting dished off. They come after people that who actually do pay taxes, right? Who actually do the things that they're supposed to be doing. They don't go after big companies like Amazon, who owes billions. This ain't no millions, billions in taxes. But they got high price lawyers that can manipulate a system and exploit every law that's actually meant for us. I don't care about that. That's where we need to go. And how we can do that, how can you say? The one biggest one is that it's got to be an in-house cleanup. What I mean by that is that in the black community, we have to come to some hard, in your face truths about ourselves. That we cannot demand other races to do us a different way when we give the okay to people in our own race to do us that way. I call it the black pass. Oh, you can do it, he black, he can get away with that. No, we need to, and I mean this in the best way possible, hold harsh accountability to people that look like us, that are in our communities, that take away, that strip, that continue to keep us in poverty, that steal from us. We need to hold them to higher standards. We need to stop saying, man, that's a long time. Hey, that white guy did it. No. I don't like rapists whatsoever. I think rapists should be taken out in the middle of the street, whether you're man or woman, filleted and burned alive. Send a message to everybody else. Make them say, no, don't you ever do that again. Any molesters or rapists. But guess what? What would make it even worse is that if you're a rapist and you raping people in your own family, you raping your nieces, your daughters, your sons, you should be held to a higher standard and a higher punishment. You're even more disgusting. Stop giving the black pass. Hold us to we got to hold our people to higher accountability. Next, we have to expect more out of our children. What happened is that, and I am guilty of this myself, is that we have given our kids everything that we couldn't even imagine having the kids, right? We thought that would be great. But we're going to give you everything. But the point that we lost is that because we are in better positions, we have better education. We might be in a better business. We might be entrepreneurs, better positions at whatever place that you work at. You might have different streams of income. And you think how you turned out and the things you had to overcome. You don't think that you should be expecting the same from your children? That hard work, you didn't have to give them all the horrible aspects of it, the toughness. Well, I'm talking about the toughness, I'm talking about the things that were unfair to us. Like you said, some people might have been molested. No, your kids should never have to go through that. Some of us living on the street. No, your kids shouldn't have to go through that. But they definitely need to learn how to be on their own 2 feet and work and be committed, have accountability, and not to use excuses. Because one day you're going to be dead and gone. And if the only thing you could pass to them is the money, but you didn't pass them the knowledge on how to handle that money, to invest that money, to grow that money, you have done nothing but allowed them to get into a grave quicker of debt and irresponsibility. Period. If you didn't show them how to maintain, if you didn't say, no, you got to work for this. Like, man, I always wanted to be able to get Jordans when I was young. So when my kid get older, he gonna always have Jordans. He gonna always have the best clothing. I'll do this. Stop trying to make your kids look like they have money, but show them how to grow money, how to make money work for them, not to be the constant and just incredible consumers that blacks have the unfortunate reputation of being. Just the number one consumer. We always do everything else. We want to consume. Get some money. We want to get it and just blow it as soon as we get out the door. We want to blow it on cars that depreciate. Housing. Yep, people about to be mad at me on this. Because I have property, but I'm telling you, what is the biggest asset that you want to have? It's not the house, it's the land. Nobody gonna hear me on that one. Nobody gonna hear me on that one. That probably went right over a lot of people's head. The land is more valuable than what's on it. Because housing can go up and down. We've seen it. We've already had that. Where some people housing was worth 160,000, 260,000. But as people moved in and has they tried to tell us and manipulate with every system, try to tell you, like, you know what, at any time we could tell you and put into the system that this area is depreciating. Just in case you want to know what that is, called redlining. And they've been doing it for years. That's what we need to be teaching our children. We have to hold them to a higher standard. Trust me. If we start holding our children to higher standards, they'll live up to them. They'll live up to them. They won't have a choice but to. What we need to do next is that we need to stop pushing the agenda that family is bad in our community. We push this agenda so hard, we let it suck into us that having a mother and a father is a bad idea. And the biggest one we're trying to push out is that having a father in the home is a horrible idea. Again, one of the 1960 changes that came into play. They say, look, stuff got tough, right? Well, if you let us take care of you, you'll be okay. That man can't be in the house though. And a lot of us, a lot of women took that other choice. And the other problem is that a lot of you men made a horrible choice in leaving your families. Keep in mind, man been leaving their families for a long time. And that played a big part into a lot of black women, especially from back in the day. Like, man, I got to make sure I'm taken care of on the back end. They had to think about it because a lot of men were leaving. They was leaving, going off, starting new families, and doing all other crazy stuff for no rational reason, just because they wanted to. We have to stop allowing this narrative that not having two-part family, mother and the father, is going to get you through. It won't. The studies show everything opposite, that you need both the mother and the father. And I can't believe we actually need a study for people to believe that. And even if you divorce, y'all need to still be raising your children together. I gotta do it right, man. It's y'all kids. Nobody did more of the work than the other when it came to making this kid. It was two-part. The seed came from the man, the woman was the soil. She planted it, birthed it out, and there we go. Y'all both had your part into it. Neither one of y'all have more ownership of the kid. Kids are not property. Okay? To your dumbass women and to your dumbass men. Children are not property. Women feel like they can kick a father out of a child's life like it's a house. And then you got fathers who feel like they can abandon their child like their property. Like, man, I go, bye. You can have that. You can have that. I'm done. Both of those mentalities have to change. We have to get back to that. And then 4, we got to stop wanting the lives of our oppressors. Some of us has a big desire to have the same life that your oppressor has. You want the same lives of these racist, I'm here not here, racist individuals who can't stand you. I don't want the same life as them because they ready to kill themselves as soon as they had to meet adversity. I love being where we strong enough to fight because we already been at the bottom. They just ain't never seen it. So when they see it for the first time, it look like pure hell for them. For us, it looks conquerable, like we could conquer it. Like we know it's tough, but we know we can get through it. We can make it. We ain't afraid. And the sad part about it is that now throughout a little while for the last person is that the fight that we used to have, especially in our younger kids, they don't have no more because we're taking it away from them. We're handicapping them. They gotta learn it. Because some of them like, well, I ain't got it. I can steal. They lost the work ethic. That's what we need to do. Those are things that need to change. That's what we have to do to get ourselves better and get over this hump. So guess what? It's going to take time, but we're losing time by not even trying to do it. And we got to stop being so distracted. We got to stay on course. And we got to get these things taken care of. So that's my two. That's my one-on-one today for y'all, man. I ain't about to go no farther. That's about it. So we hoping that we do receive justice in this young man's trial for Ahmaud Arbery, and that these 3 men that basically set him up and hunt him down like he was like some kind of pheasant get to think about it for the rest of their lives behind bars. Because his family got to think about him not being there for the rest of their lives. To me, that's the eye for eye. But so be it. I'll let that be in the hands of God. And what we need to do now is fight harder to get the reform that we want to see and stop accepting they table scraps and saying that that's good for right now. I could care less about them making Juneteenth a national holiday. That don't affect me. It never affect us. People were celebrating it before then. We don't have to have a holiday be national for us to celebrate it and recognize it. It's stupid. Our birthdays aren't national holidays, but you still recognize it, right? Your anniversary isn't a national holiday, but you still recognize it, right? So stop it. Stop with your phony baloney excuses and be straight up with yourself. And that's what we need to do. That's what we need to do. Stop lying to ourselves, man. We got to do it. We got to stop lying. We got to stop lying. You can't lie. It's two people you can't lie to. That's yourself and God. You can't do it. It's impossible. People have tried it. It doesn't work. All right. And with that being said, man, as always, y'all know we got season 4 premiere Unfiltered. And I cannot wait. It's been good. We have missed y'all, and it's gonna be some great and amazing topics that we got going on. Oh man, I just cannot wait for this season to get going and get started. It's just something that we've been patiently and greatly waiting on. Um, and like I said, we are just so excited about this. November the 3rd, 7 o'clock. Man, it gets no better than that. I'm getting ready to come back on here and enjoy and get into some great topics, especially the topics that we need to hear instead of this. Everybody want to be entertained and numb to the fact of the real things that's going on. So, man, it's gonna be great. Also, before I get up out of here, I remember if y'all remember this closely, I want to make sure I got the right list. No, that wasn't my list. That was my boy. That's my cuz Mac list. This is my list, right? We had a top 12 list of NBA players right at the end of the season. Y'all remember this, right? And the funny thing about this list, man, is that my cuz just called me gonna say, man, he gonna say, man, fuck you, first of all. But he was like, I'm telling you, you were so right about Jay Morant. All right. Jay Morant is the truth, y'all. Not only that, I remember I told y'all, and I'm gonna stand behind this. That my boy Ice Tray, man, that dude is gonna be an MVP in the next year or so. This He's the truth. I'm telling you. You're going to see the steady fall of a couple of people. I think LeBron is going to start falling off. I always said that Greek Freak was going to be good. I thought he was I think he's the best player in the NBA. I think he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Um, Embiid, if he stay healthy, will stay right up there with him. I think that first row that I have right now, the only person I see leaving out of that front row right now might be Kawhi. I think Chris Paul is still good down there with Phoenix. Like I said, I just think he's a born leader. I think LeBron will still be up here because eventually he's gonna get it in his head that this letting Russ be the point guard shit ain't working. Um, but I think Kawhi drop out of there, and the person that's gonna come up. eh, I guess I gotta take him. I ain't the biggest fan of him because I just think that he's one of the greatest players, one of the best players I've seen in this generation. Yeah, it'd be Kevin Durant. He got to come up if his team gonna win. So, but anyway, all that out the way. But yeah, now that'll be about. I just wanted to show y'all that list because I was accurate, man. I know what I'm talking about when it comes to sports. Uh, Outside of that, I want y'all to have an amazing rest of your day. Go ahead, y'all can go ahead and share this, um, comment it on, and do however that you need to do. But I definitely wanted to bring that up because it was bothering me and it was on my mind this whole time. And that one I just couldn't wait for to talk about with Ahmaud Aubrey and everything that was going on down there. And, just the hypocrisy that we have in our system to tell us that trust in the system when the system doesn't have trust in itself. I think is ridiculous. So, with all that being said, all of you wonderful people, I want y'all all have a wonderful day. God bless. Stay up. And remember, next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock, season premiere, Unfiltered. Love y'all.